Hello, St. Louis, and welcome back to STL TV Live. I'm Sarah Bernard. Blessings can make an incredible impact around the world, and Theresa Wilson with the Blessing Basket Project is here to tell us just how that works. And one of the things I love about my job is I get to meet St. Louisans like you who are literally changing the world, changing people's lives one person at a time. And you are doing an incredible thing. I'm so privileged to know a little bit already, but let's share with our viewers. Let's take us back. The Blessing Basket Project started about 9 years ago.
Yep.
And how did you start it? We're going to go into details in a minute, but tell us how it began.
Well, it started with a crisis that I went through in my life, and people around me started giving me cards and letters of support, and I put them in a basket. And on the really hard days when I thought I just can't make it, I'm just not going to be able to get through this thing, I would see the basket and remember all of the goodness that people had invested in me. And I thought, I've got to keep going for those people who took time to invest in me. And one thing led to another, the crisis ended, and I started talking to women about overcoming struggle and hardship. And I spoke from my blessing basket, all the cards that I had gathered. And they said, well, we want a blessing basket. Where did you get that? And I said, well, I just made it up.
That's nice.
So I was encouraged by a group of St. Louis businesswomen to actually do something with the idea. And so that was the seed that started what you now know today as the Blessing Basket Project, just to pay forward what people did.
And so you made a career transition of your own in the process of creating the Blessing Basket Project. Yeah. So what is the Blessing Basket Project exactly?
So the Blessing Basket Project is a nonprofit organization. Our world headquarters is based here in St. Louis. We serve 7 countries around the world. And what we do is pay people more money than anyone in the world to make primarily baskets. We're starting to get into a few other handicraft, but it's primarily baskets like the one I've got here. And it's the more than the prosperity wage that we pay enables them to do all kinds of things in their life, most importantly, to start businesses. So we know that in about a 3-year period of time with our financial model, we can take someone from abject poverty and take them sustainably out of poverty and onto the road to prosperity. But they have to do the really hard work.
So what are the 7 countries?
Ghana, Uganda, Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, Madagascar, Bangladesh, and Kenya.
And how did you choose those countries? Because there are lots of countries that need help.
Exactly. I get that question a lot. I'd like to give you a really smart answer, like I knew the poverty levels or I had studied it or whatever. That's not what happened at all. When I decided to start the Blessing Basket Project, I sent an email out to the world and I said, here's who I am and here's what I want to do.
Wait, you sent an email to the world?
Literally. Like I said, dear world, here's what I want to do. Okay. It was actually an online forum, and they have a forum for every continent in the world. Okay. So I posted on every single forum around the world, so I call it the email to the world. I don't know how else to really describe it.
You did your homework.
Exactly. And I said, here's who I am, here's what I want to do, and if you can weave, just contact me. And I just looked at my savings account at this little tiny amount of money, and I said, okay, I think I could sell probably about maybe 200 baskets. That number divided by that number equals how much I'm going to pay for baskets. Well, what I didn't know that Washington University would teach me later is that the power of the US dollar when it walks into another country is something amazing. So as people began to read this posting that I had put on there, they were like, oh my gosh, did you see this crazy woman from the United States and how much she wants to pay for baskets?
So you had droves of people
Overnight, we heard from 12 countries around the world, and within 2 weeks, we were up to 25 countries.
Wow.
And it just became this grassroots gut process of choosing which countries we could work with.
So when you say you heard from countries, you heard from individuals in these countries?
Exactly.
Multiple people within
Yes, in some cases, like we heard from a lot of people from India. We had some multiple entries from Belize. So we had over 80 inquiries representing 25 countries from around the world. The last thing I did was look at a map, which should have been the first thing that I should have done. So as a result, we ended up in the countries that we are in based on a lot of things, how trustworthy was the person. I put every one of these 80 inquiries through an honesty test. Okay. I started asking them to do stuff.
And these were all women responding?
No, they were all kinds of different people. They were people maybe at a government level in some cases. They were social workers in some cases. They were men, they were women. Of course, they're not at the village level, but they knew people at the village level who needed help.
So what what we're going to do now, there is so much to tell, and people are so curious what exactly the Blessing Basket Project, what happens once it got to that level to these individuals. We're going to turn now, you've got a clip, so can you give us a quick intro on the clip, and we're going to watch that and come back in a minute and talk more.
Well, one of the greatest privileges that I get to do with what I do is pay women in the field on the ground.
Okay.
And what we've got now is a clip of exactly what that looks like when that happens.
So we're going to take a look at that now. Don't go anywhere because we are going to be spreading more peace with the Blessing Basket Project when we return. Take a look at this now.
We're getting ready to pay Nalaboa Topista. She is one of our Kasamu weavers, and the prosperity wages that she is earning on 9 sets of baskets is more money than she could have earned working in the fields in a year. It took her only 3 weeks to make the baskets, so here we go. 20, 220, 230, 240, 250, 260, 270,000 shillings.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you are so welcome.